Hey Rockstar, Steve aka Void here. Welcome to another episode of RIFFSTARTER, where I help you play your favorite riffs from day one by removing those annoying speed bumps and roadblocks that slow you down. All the strategies and techniques from the show are based on my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More, so you can check that out at playmoresongs.com. Welcome to today's episode. I'm super excited about today because, well, one, my voice is starting to come back, and two, we're going to be working on Wish You Were Here. And Wish You Were Here, super popular riff, one of the best Floyd riffs, I think, period. I get requests for this all the time. And it's interesting because this riff is actually, it's so hard to hear at the beginning of the song that it's any wonder, like, how is this so popular? I mean, it's so low in the mix, and then the solo comes in and it's so loud. It's a very interesting mix decision. But anyway, it's a very cool riff. When it comes back around after the chorus, it's a lot louder. But anyway, if you've ever tried this riff, you've probably hit some roadblocks. I want to just cover what some of those are, and then we're going to remove them. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's just go over to my screen real quick. And I just want to show you here. So the first thing that could happen, the first roadblock or speed bump, is that at the top of this tab, it says guitars 4 and 5, open G tuning, and we have D, G, D, G, B, D tuning. And so you might tune your guitar like that, and then you look at the tab, and it's probably not going to sound that good, because what you may have missed in the small text is guitar 1 is a 12-string acoustic. Okay, cool. Like, that's different than this here. Like, already there's conflicting information. Like, what? Guitar 4 and 5, open G, and then this over here, this doesn't really sound like Wish You Were Here. There's already some confusion that can happen. So the first thing we want to do is we realize that the guitar number 1 is in standard tuning. Okay. Now, one of the big problems here with this tab, and this happens a lot with strumming songs, is you're going to have stuff that's pretty straightforward like this. Like, this is a hammer-on, open A string going to the 2nd fret, and then you have the open string on the D. Cool, all good. But then, when you get into the strummy stuff here, like, you have like 3 notes here, and then 2, and then these 2, and then these 2, and then, like, this just, it doesn't, guitar playing doesn't really work like that, where you have to be so meticulous about each event. Okay, so like, we're not gonna work on each little part here. What we want to do instead, first and foremost, is we want to capture the essence. Okay, so in capturing the essence of this riff, what we want to do is make sure that we understand what are the chords. Okay, what's the chord movement in this song. Don't worry about exactly what the tab says. First, let's make sure that we get the chords that are in the song, okay? And then from there, so what I would recommend doing is first get the chords, then what we're gonna do is strum the targets. We remove any of the arpeggio or any of the hammer-ons or anything like that. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna play the chords. So for example, in this case here, what we would do, let me go to my guitar cam here. We're gonna play, so we play an E minor chord. I recommend, so I've got these super glue chords where I've got the ring finger and the pinky on here, on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and the 1st string. And basically, what we would do is we would play the, like an E minor, okay? If you could have the super glue here plus an E minor chord, that would be great. If not, then you just have the index finger on there. But the idea is that we're playing these chords that have this ring finger and pinky on the whole time. I call these super glue chords, okay? Now, you'd have an E minor. Okay, I'd still call them the regular chords though, so this would be an E minor, okay? And then you'd have a G, okay? You have an E minor, and you have a G, okay? E minor, and then you have, now this one we would call an A. This would technically be, you'd have an A7 chord. There's a bunch of different ways to play it, but the whole idea is just understanding we have E minor, G, E minor, G, E minor, A, E minor, A, G. From a chord perspective, like right now I'm not teaching you the songs, so like, hey, follow along with those chords. What I'm showing you is conceptually, we're just gonna start off with one shot. So when you put the record on, even though it's super quiet, you maybe crank it up a bit. And you go, like, it would go bum ba da dum dum. You do the first drum, dum da da dum, dum da da dum dum. So you just do those shots, dum da da dum, dum da da dum dum, da just hit those shots, okay? That's the first thing, is making sure you could hit that. Because if you can't do that, then every other step is going to be really, really tricky. It's going to take a long time, take way longer than we need to. And actually, one thing that I forgot to mention here, in season 2 of RIFFSTARTER, because it's been a little while since we had a playing episode like this. Last week, the season premiere was a writing episode. This is all based off of my Play From Day One methodology. Play From Day One states that instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the record, match the record to your current skill level, and that's how you play from day one. So in RIFFSTARTER terms, instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the riff, match the riff to your current skill level. That's how you play from day one. So with that in mind, what we're gonna do is make sure that we can at least strike that, we hit the target, the chords there. Okay, we hit that even if we're playing conventional chords like E minor and the G, the E minor and the G. Okay, instead of trying to play everything at once, make sure you can hit those targets first. Okay, once you're able to do that, then what you can do is you can start strumming the whole thing. And think of it like you're like jamming with David Gilmour. Okay, you're playing something compatible. Okay, so you'd start off with something like, let's just say we had this E minor chord. Strum the whole thing. You don't worry about any of the individual notes, the hammer-ons, or anything like that. But you make sure that you could strum the whole thing and you strum along in time with the record. Okay? Once you're able to do that, then you can start slicing and dicing. See, I think a lot of guitar players, they think like they get too specific too soon, and the song ends up sounding like, you know, so you're basically like trying to piece it all together. So, and like, okay. You're trying to like stitch it together, and there's no musical pulse to that. And we got to make sure first and foremost that we have a musical pulse. This is what I call playing from day one. Playing music has a musical pulse. Okay, so we got to make sure that everything that we do, even if it's a slower pulse, that we have that happening at all times, because that's playing music. That's training your brain to put the priority on music, not on like just what notes am I playing over here. Okay, so what we got to do is, and by the way, let me know in the chat, like, you know, let me know who's there. I mean, I don't see anybody in the chat right now, so I mean, this is like broadcasting to the screen here. So just you know, feel free to say hi in the chat. It'll be cool to see, even if you're watching the replay. So basically, we got to make sure we could do these stepping stones first, because if we can't do this one, then the next one's going to be harder, and then the next one's going to be harder, and then the next one's going to be harder. So we just end up wasting a bunch of time, and we definitely don't want to focus on this thing by playing at face value, which means that like play it exactly like the tab, because we'll be there for days, weeks, months. Okay, what we want to do is we want to play in time, and so we could start off with either conventional chords, superglue chords. Start off like that. Hey, how's it going, buddy? So we strum that, and once we're able to do that, then we can start slicing and dicing, and then we can start getting into the start getting into this stuff. And what I would recommend that you do, so I look at this as like call and answer. We've got this like call, and then we have the strum, like, which would be the answer. Okay. So you'd have the call and then the answer, call and the answer. So it'd be like call, that would be answer, then call, and then answer, and then call, answer, and then, so you go back and forth, call, answer, call, answer. Hey, Bobby, how's it going, buddy? So you go call, answer, back and forth. And if you split it up like that, then what you can do, you could only play the answers. That's what we did first. So it's like the call, da-da-dum-dum, strum. That would be the answer. So you're only playing the answer. Then what you could do, you strum all the way through. What you could also do is you could just do the calls. You can go, let the strumming go. Okay. So then you have only the calls. Okay, see how we're slicing and dicing it. Then another thing you could do is you could do the call plus one strum of the answer. You don't have to, like, even though you experienced, and let's just say like the second phase of this, you played all the strumming. Even though you played all that, and I apologize, my guitar's just a little bit out of tune. But you played all that strumming, cool. Okay, you prove you're able to do that. You move on to the next step. In this phase here, there's no strumming at all. Okay, you're focusing on the call notes, this individual, the precision of those call notes. Then what you could do, you do the call plus one strum. You go like this. So see, you're slicing and dicing it until you get something. Now we've got like the call and one strum of the answer. Okay, cool. What's the next logical step? Well, maybe if I just strum a little bit in between. Now let me color in the picture. Instead of doing one strum, now I could do multiple strums. So now I would go, let's say I'd make the same, like a uniform pattern, down, down, up, up, down. So it'd be like, kind of like this. It would go down, down, up, up. Down, down, up, up. Down, down, up, up. Down, down, up, up. Like that kind of thing. And that's basically how you would color this all in. Like, you see how we're not taking a face value path where this is where, like, if we're looking at the tab and trying to get all of these moves here, it's going to take you way longer to get to the end result versus slicing and dicing it, matching it to your current skill level first, doing things that don't sound like the record first, but that are compatible with the record, play along with the record like a musical metronome, because we got to focus on that timing. And we match it to our current skill level. We simplify it, so we match it to our current skill level. That's how you play from day one. But you see how I did about like 5 or 6 different versions of the song? It seems like it's more moves and more turns, and it's going to take way more time. But because each one was matched to your level, and because it was simplified, and you were able to play music, and you focused on having that steady pulse, it's actually going to take way less time, because each of the phases, each of the versions of the song build on the previous one. And what's cool is if you struggle with the next version, the upgraded version, you could always fall back on the previous version you were just playing. If this one gets boring, or if this one gets frustrating or confusing, you fall back on the previous version that you were just playing. So what I just described to you is something you could apply to all riffs, all songs, okay? But not a lot of people do it. And it seems like it's way more work, but you end up wasting so much more time and energy and money if you're paying for coaching and courses that teach you face value. Like, play it exactly like the record. If you start like that, it seems like it's faster, but it's actually gonna take you way longer. And a bunch of people just don't ever end up playing Wish You Were Here or any riff that is that you wanna play, okay? So that's what you want to do, is you got to follow that methodology. You got to simplify it so you match it to your current skill level. That's how you play from day one. And then you just keep upgrading until it sounds like the original, or until you're satisfied. All right. So that is today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, these are principles that it's not specifically showing you all the little moves of Wish You Were Here. This is more about how to approach practicing, like what to actually practice. And if you need any help with it, if you want me to help you play Wish You Were Here, then definitely hit me up. So I mean, if you go playmoresongs.com, then you'll be on my list, and then we can chat about it. But you could reach out, support@rockstarmind.com. I can help you play this in 30 days or less if you'd like. If you want to check out the book, and there's actually a great deal right now at playmoresongs.com if you want to check that out. But that is today's episode of Riff Starter. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.